Hello friends, I'm back. It's been a hefty 3 years since I've done anything on YouTube, and this felt like the perfect time to come back to myself, the things that I love, like posting videos on YouTube, and share some really exciting news. So quick lightning round catch up. Since you last saw me, I have started and built my own business. As a certified natural chef, I have been cooking specifically for new moms in the 6 weeks after they have their baby, and I've been doing that for going on 4 years this fall. So that's been amazing, and just watching that business grow has been so cool. We renovated a house, got a dog, and we had a baby. So I had a daughter almost exactly a year ago. She turned 1 11 days ago. And that has been just the most amazing gift. I had no idea the actual gift that motherhood is. People tell you all day long, and I think some people know that they want it, but once I had her, it was just an absolute shift in both my husband and I, and we realized, wow, this is something really special, and she's really special. So I'm so blessed, truly. What we're here for today is the fact that I found out 5 weeks ago that I am pregnant again. So we're gonna have not just 2 under 2, we're gonna have 2 under 20 months. People have done it time and time again. I know I'm not alone, but wow. I was extremely surprised. My husband was not quite as surprised as I was based on our birth control method that we had been employing, but I was very surprised. And so we're here to talk about it, and I thought it would be so fun. You know, with my daughter, the first time my pregnancy was a little bit of a whirlwind. I was running my business. I felt like I was kind of burning the candle at both ends. It was still a special time, but I didn't keep any notes on how it went. And this time I was like, this would be a really fun way to hold on to the memories of this pregnancy, especially because people say when you have a young other child, it's really hard to keep any memory. Like, this is gonna go by like a blur. So I figured doing videos every 4 weeks or so is gonna help me hold on to that memory. And I don't know about you, but when I was pregnant with my daughter, I watched pregnancy videos and birth videos and doula videos constantly. I mean, I spent so much time on YouTube. I was always consuming this kind of content. So I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and put my own story out there, more content for people like me to consume. So it's a good memory for me, and also hopefully it can help somebody out there feel less alone, maybe feel seen in their experience, or maybe give them like a reference point for their experience. So here we go, pregnancy number 2. Let's get into the whole thing. I have my notes here so that I can reference them and make sure I'm staying on track. So don't mind me if I keep looking back down. So how we found out, for reference, today is April 13th. On March 6th, so 5 weeks ago, I woke up and I knew that I was late by a day. I'm not a super timely person when it comes to my cycles, so it really didn't surprise me that much. But I decided to take a test just in case. That night I was going to a margarita night with my girlfriends. We do it every month. So I was like, better safe than sorry. And I took the pregnancy test, and I cannot tell you the amount of shock. Like, my stomach dropped out the bottom of my feet. Like, I just could not believe it. And when I got pregnant with my daughter the first time, I waited to tell my husband in this super cute way, and we had been trying for about 7 months. So did this whole cute plan. This time I walk out of the bathroom, I'm shaking. My husband's making breakfast for our daughter, and I was like, babe, I'm pregnant. Like, immediately. No cute lead in, no sweet, like, guess what? So precious. No, I immediately had to spill the beans because I was just in utter shock. I thought I had done like a really good job tracking that month. I used this app called Pre-Mom, which I still recommend. It's not Pre-Mom's fault, but I use an app called Pre-Mom. I think kind of what happened is I have PCOS. It's not the most reliable method to just track your LH, which is what I was doing. And I wasn't even doing it that diligently. Thought if I just avoided that window of time that most people would use to try to get pregnant, then I would be safe. And I was just on the very front end of that window and didn't know it. So looking back, I'm like, yeah, I see. But this baby is not a mistake. As much as this baby is a surprise, I know that accidental pregnancies are like, they just blow my mind. because of how many people are out there trying. And if this is hard for you to hear because you're trying, I just want you to know that I see you, and I don't mean to bring any pain to your circumstance. So I hope that this is not a painful story. I know it's really, really, really hard to hear about surprises. I felt like when I was first trying with my daughter, and we only tried for 7 months, like I'm not even equating that to what so many women go through for years. But even still, you keep getting those negative tests. And I remember every client that I had in that season, they kept telling me their story of getting pregnant. And it was like the first time we tried, or it was a surprise, or, you know, it was like one after another of just, it just happened for us. It happened so easily. And I felt like, what am I doing wrong? Anyway, all that to say, this is a total surprise, but we count it as a blessing. After becoming parents to our daughter, we know that this baby is such a gift, and we're gonna love this baby. Like, I can't even imagine the capacity that my heart will have to grow because of how much I already love my daughter, but we'll get there. It's gonna be amazing, and we're super excited. But that kind of gets me into like how I'm processing. So on day 1, I was incredibly overwhelmed, and then I felt this really weird emotion of, I want to know if you've ever experienced this. I felt like I was betraying my daughter by having these feelings of excitement and here we go and all of that with this new baby. So like I said, I always watch my YouTube videos when I'm pregnant, and so I immediately was like, all right, I'm gonna watch the week 4 video, you know, like pulled them up on my phone, started watching them, and I just felt this overwhelming feeling of like, I'm betraying my daughter, which is absolutely silly. I'm not saying it's warranted, but that was one of my emotions that I was feeling. So then another aspect of the overwhelm was thinking about the logistics with my life, running a business, having a daughter, and then my husband touring. He's a touring musician. Our schedule already is incredibly complicated, and the thought of adding another baby into that, knowing I'm going to be alone with both of these babies under 2 for a large portion of the time. You know, my husband's not gone as much as some husbands are, but he is gone more than a lot of husbands are. And so just to think about like, okay, I've learned to conquer it with 1. Now I need to learn to conquer it with 2. And that logistical aspect was just washing over me. And I had to actually tell myself, you're not allowed to think about logistics right now. There will be a time for strategizing and getting help lined up and making sure I'm prepared and ready for the logistical aspect of taking care of 2 under 2 by myself. But women do it all day, every day. And one thing that actually made me feel so much better is I've started watching these YouTube videos of military moms, especially those who have 2 under 2, or some of them have like 3 under 4. And I'm like, listen, if they can do it, I can do it. I mean, some of them, their husbands are deployed for 9 months. So it's just been really empowering, actually. I just want to like say, if you are a single mom or if you are a military wife, you are a superhero. So I am just so encouraged by seeing those women's stories, watching them do their like day in the life, and just seeing that not only can it be done, but it doesn't have to always feel like chaos. I know sometimes it will feel like chaos, but it doesn't always have to. So now we get to go into the fun stuff like symptoms and cravings. What's funny is I am having a very similar experience. I would say copy paste from the first pregnancy to this one. It has been almost like down to a T, exactly the same, from cravings to symptoms. But the first thing that I experienced was 2nd and 3rd trimester. I had really bad sciatic pain, and I actually had that symptom before I tested positive this time, which is confusing to me because I think sciatic pain is supposedly coming from the weight of the uterus as the baby grows. So I don't understand how I'm already having sciatic pain, but it was like immediate. It was before I ever knew I was pregnant. And I remember actually texting my husband because he was out of town, and I was feeling really guilty that like it was painful for me to carry my daughter, painful for me to lay her in her crib, play with her, like all of that. And I remember texting him and being like, it's not quite as bad as when I was pregnant. Little did I know I was already pregnant. So that has been one of the most noticeable symptoms. Thankfully, I can say now at the end of this period of time that it's already gone. So I went to my chiropractor, she helped me out, and we're already doing a lot better. I'm really thankful. I'll be staying on top of that with like a really gentle heating pad. I try to be super careful with that, but it does really help. And then alternating that with ice and things like that. That symptom just took me by surprise, and it came back with a vengeance almost immediately. So I'm glad that it's gone for now, and I'm hoping that we can mitigate it for as long as possible, because I can't do that for 9 months. I just can't. Another symptom I would say was like a little bit of bloating, but it wasn't much. It wasn't like enough for me to have, I wouldn't have even noticed it if I didn't know I was pregnant. It was just like a little bit bloaty. Cravings. So my first craving right out the gate was chips and guacamole, which is a clear indicator to me because I don't care for guacamole. Like, I'm a salsa girl. I don't even care for chips. Chips are just a vessel for getting the dip into your mouth. Am I right? Anybody else? So the fact that I was like, I'm gonna go buy avocados and I'm gonna make chips and guacamole immediately, that alone was like, clearly something's going on. Couldn't get enough lime in it. I like ate half of the bowl and was like reluctant to share with my husband. So it was definitely like very clear, like this is a craving. And then of course for me, like I said, copy paste my first pregnancy, ice cream. Like the Ted Lasso ice cream partnership with Jenny's came out very beginning of my pregnancy. If I had not taken a positive pregnancy test, I still would have known I was pregnant, because cut to me driving like a mad woman to our local Jenny's because I called them and I was like, do you have the Ted Lasso pints? And they were like, we have one more. And I was like, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Asked my husband to watch our daughter, jumped in the car and drove to get that last pint. And ever since then, I've been like keeping ice cream around. I'm not eating massive amounts of it. It's just that like cold, sweet, I want it all the time. It's just my favorite treat when I'm pregnant, and it just feels so predictable that I'm already like this much into it. And then finally, this feels so cliche, but pickles. Like, what a pregnant woman thing to say, but the other day I ate 5 pickles in one sitting. And on the 5th one, I was like, this is too many pickles. Like I knew the 5th was too many. My mouth was like rejecting. It was like, no more pickles, you're done with pickles. But I bought the big tub of Grillo's pickles. If you have not tried them, your Costco might have them, your Kroger might have them. I don't know if they're like regional. Grillo's pickles, they are so good. They're so cold, so crunchy, so tart. I mean, amazing. I want one right now. But yes, pickles, ice cream, chips and guac. I'm already past that. That was like in the very beginning. I don't want that anymore. It doesn't sound good to me, but I had to make note of it because it was so weird for me to want that. Okay, and then this is like a funny thing. I haven't mentioned this to anybody. So if my husband sees this, if my friends see this, I feel like anybody who knows me will be like, this is the weirdest thing about pregnancy. This is so weird for you. I remember doing this specifically the first time, but it's back. I have a weird obsession with fast food, but not eating it. Like, I can't tell you the last time I ate fast food. Probably when I was pregnant the first time, but even then I think I ate it twice. But the amount of times I thought about it and talked about it was all of the time. I remember sitting at a bonfire and I was like, okay, so what's everybody's favorite fast food item? And I made them go around and tell me. And now I find myself like watching videos about fast food. It is the weirdest thing. I haven't eaten any, I haven't gone to get it, and it's not because I'm like exercising self-restraint. Like, I believe in treating yourself, I believe in balance. But it's not that I'm like gonna go get as far as to get it. It's just that I like thinking about it. I need to know if anybody else has had that experience. It is the weirdest thing, especially for me as somebody who like the closest I get to fast food is eating Chipotle once every like 2 months. But that's really about it for me. So just this really weird obsession. I don't know what's going on. It's so strange. But at the end, so we're coming to the tail end of 5 to 8 weeks, you guys. And at the end of 8 weeks, I finally got my first doctor appointment, which is so sweet. It just, for me, I don't actually feel like it's real until that appointment. So there's just this weird, you get the positive test and then you just kind of live in this like ether of, am I actually pregnant? Like, and you're just kind of waiting, you're kind of holding your breath. And so when I see the ultrasound, which not everybody has to do an ultrasound, I choose to. When I see the ultrasound, when I have that appointment, I talk about it with my midwife, that's when I feel like, okay, this is real. So I went in, I did the ultrasound. As always, it just looked like a little tiny cicada in there, but it was a healthy baby with a heartbeat, and that alone was just like, I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. I know that not everybody has that experience, and I just truly am carrying that with so much gratitude. And then, of course, like every nurse and midwife who saw me was like, you were just here, like what? And you're back. You know, I know plenty of people have had pregnancies closer together than I'm currently experiencing, but there is that like laughable, I feel like I just did this. I feel like I was just in that same seat at 8 weeks pregnant for the first time. So it's like very wild. The deja vu is strong, but it's gonna be a fun ride, and I'm really excited to bring you guys along with me. That's it for 5 to 8 weeks. Next time I see you, I will be at the end of 12 weeks, and we'll talk about all the good stuff all over again and see how the pregnancy has been progressing. I guess I'll do a bump shot, but there's not much to talk about. I didn't really show until 20 weeks the first time. I'm already noticing we're gonna see the baby sooner than that. I can tell. I know that's pretty normal, second and third pregnancy, to see the baby sooner. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming soon. First of all, look at how cute these pants are. Like, are you kidding me? Love these. Okay. I mean, there's not much going on, but we'll get there. So, dang. Here we go again, guys.